Hey Mary,
Hi,
how you doing?
good.
Good.
Let me just-
Hello,
Hi Donna,
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, who else is there that we should be able to hear?
So it's myself, it's Mary, it's Megan from my office, Missy from DEP, and then Mike, our IT.
Cool. Oh, there's Mike. I've never seen Mike. Hi, Mike. Isn't this fun?
How you
It's
folks
been-
doing?
Good.
Melissa, you all set?
I'm all set. Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Okay, no problem.
Perfect. All right, excellent. So it is 5:31. We do have our coalition meeting at 6:30, so we'll get started in the interest of time. I do have capability to make Mary the host, Mary, if you would like to share your screen, or
Oh,
I
sure.
share what you sent to me, whatever you prefer, whatever is easier.
Yeah, whatever's easier.
Okay, so first we'll start off. I think everyone knows everyone on the call. Missy from Mass DEP was on our call back in June. So Missy is gonna sit on our calls moving forward if obviously her schedule allows. So we appreciate that to get any maybe
No
tips,
problem.
things that, we should be doing that maybe we're not doing, things along that nature. Potentially maybe what other communities are doing that Wellville can, adopt. So that's great. And then to jump forward, so the reusable bags. So we did get another shipment of the reusable bags in. So I did use some grant money for those. We got about, I think, 600 or so reusable bags. So I have them here. I know Nancy just jumped on. I know the farmers market is this coming weekend, the last weekend. I don't know, Nancy, if you're on yet.
No, we finished
It was last
Saturday.
week.
It's
Okay, last
done. Yeah.
okay. So that's fine. So we have the bags. So if there's any other outings or events that the committee members think would be beneficial to have them at, we have them here. So I'm going to put some up in the attic, but we will have a good surplus in the office, in the closet. So either myself, Megan, Trish, or Jen can help out with that. So that's a good thing. And then the plastic bag ban, I didn't know if anyone had any updates on the plastic bag ban. I know it looks like Jane just jumped on. We haven't seen any non-compliance since our last meeting. I don't know if any other committee members have. For the most part, we're seeing people reaching out after, recycling committee members coming out to their stores. So that's a good thing. Obviously, we want to be educational first, I feel, and then ultimately, if, it's the second, third time when they haven't, reached compliance, then obviously we would follow up with them, but, that's that. And now what I'll do is I'll share, Mary, do you prefer that I share it or do you want to
Sure.
share?
Why don't you share it that way? It might be a little smoother.
That's okay. All right, let me pull this up. Do you want to give a little narrative while I pull this up, Mary?
Sure. And it'll be between myself and Donna. We have 165 surveys that have been completed so far, so we feel really good about that. There's 127 people or respondents who said likely, very likely to participate in a curbside pickup of food waste that would be for a modest fee. That's how we put the question. So you can see the question over here, actually. Over time, there may be the possibility for more availability of companies to come in for a modest fee. So we wanted to be sure people understood that they would be paying the fee, and how likely are you to participate. And we have a Likert score there, scale. And between the likely and the very likely, we've got 127 households who are saying that they are very interested. And interestingly enough, I heard from a woman in the course of all this, because we have an email as well. So this woman wrote to me and said, oh my goodness, we just moved from Medfield a couple of years ago and we really miss the food waste composting. We need to do this, she said. So a woman after my own heart. So So we are hearing from people, similar minds, especially in places where we're likely to find people like that, like the farmer's market and the different recycling events and so on. But let me hand it over to Donna. Donna, if you want to say a few words about Black Earth and how close we feel we're getting to sending out a message about them.
Oh, okay. First of all, I just want to say that Mary she's learned a lot of new skills, and between the QR code and the graph and the Google survey.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just sort of the jolly sidekick here. But yes, I am the one that negotiates with Black Earth. After thinking about the 3 potential vendors, reviewing them, we decided Black Earth was the most stable, reliable, and going company to go with. We did attend the Norwood Library presentation
That's right.
on Zoom with Andrew Brousseau of Black Earth, and it was incredibly enlightening as to their whole operation and compost and the value of their compost, and so on and so forth, and how to compost. It was very fascinating anyway. So there were a few of us there. What we're saying now is what their contact person now that I'm dealing with is leading me to believe that we are really quite ready to go to make this announcement, for Mary to write back to the respondents and say, okay, here's the next step. And the next step is we get it out of our desks.
Yes.
Simply pre-register, they indicate their interest, and then Black Earth takes it from there and gives them the term, the conditions, the prices, and see if they want to subscribe. And it's that simple. And Mary figured even if we have only 100, which is just a start, which is the pioneers, it's only 44 cents a day to get all your garbage hauled away and become Great Earth. And the only other thing I want to say about this is I realize the town is probably not quite ready for this yet, and that we're doing this as a residential initiative. But I would like to say that having spoken with other towns, and in particular Norwood, who was our sort of energy partnership for energy advocacy,
Right.
Norwood, by the way, does have sites where people can drop it in these bear-proof containers. How cool is that? And then they take it away to their site, which is very similar to Robbins Road, and the hauler comes and gets it. And I want to say is they take the compost post back, and besides feeling that they're doing the right thing and moving in the right direction, they actually pick up another $10,000 selling their compost to this other particular company. The town is making that $10,000 by getting their compost back from their garbage and selling it to this other company. So, they're saving the town. They figure it's more than break even for the town with getting this garbage out of the trash that the residents are paying for to be hauled away. So I really see it as a win-win town. And Mary and I really feel we need to go, as we get going here, make presentations to various town people and officials and boards, and show them the benefit of doing this. Besides just plain doing the right thing, we're going this way with the Massachusetts Organics mandate, which will come eventually. So we want to be on the bandwagon. We don't want to be running behind trying to catch up with Canton and Sharon and Norwood and Beverly and Reading. We want to be right on there with the rest of them. So I guess the bottom line is Mary's ready to tell them, go for it, right?
Yeah, we're ready to send out a message to the interested parties we identified and let them know that Black Earth is ready to take their pre-registration. Which, by the way, do you want to speak to the pre-registration list that's there already, Donna? Do you want to say?
Yes, I will speak to it. So along the way, in fact, there was a woman, I brought the Black Earth container to a farmer's market, and she said, oh, is that it? Is it Black Earth? Is it finally here? I've been waiting and waiting. I registered years ago. So they're waiting to see at least 100 people. That's what they're looking for. They have about 80 some pre-reg, which they feel 40 will come through. Got another 127, of which surely 60 will come through. We think we're at the 100. And so that is why. Is that what I wanted to say, Mary?
Yes, basically, it's an interesting process, right? Because we've identified 127 people sort of on our own with our own survey. And yet Black Earth has this little pre-registration process, which has been going on for a while. I pre-registered with them maybe 2 years ago. So, so you just kind of put the two together and we've got a lot of people interested.
So that it probably, once the momentum goes and people start seeing this action, and remember, we've only been at this since April, we may well get it up to the 300, which drops the price down significantly.
Right, right.
To like a quarter a day or something. So anyway, we don't talk prices, terms, conditions, that's Black Earth Steel. But we are at least encouraging people that this isn't going to be $600 a year to do, So that is the deal.
Mary, I've gotten permission to put it on the Action Together
Oh,
Facebook
that's
page.
great. Oh, great.
I just need a little bit of help from you on verbiage and some technical issue that I'm running into with posting it.
Oh, sure.
So I tried reaching you, but I thought you were home, but you didn't. I guess you were walking or something. So
Yeah.
I need to get together with you, and then that might be a good place to
That's
post.
great. Okay, thank you. Oh, and there'll be a message going out with the rec department too, Donna, right?
Yes, the rec department.
Yeah.
Yes, we met with the rec department. They're absolutely delightful, young, enterprising, committed. Brendan and Lauren who run it. And they also live in Walpole. So we gave them the survey, of course. And they're going to put it in their next newsletter, which should come out, I guess, in December. We missed November. I missed it. I was late on it. So, we're gathering. And again, Jane, we can just give you that same blurb we gave to them, unless it's a matter of technical.
Yeah, it's some other thing, but
Okay.
I have a question, Melissa.
Yeah.
Are we taking minutes of these meetings? I'm sort of jotting it down as we go along, but are we taking minutes of meetings, or
So
do we?
there's no one that takes minutes of the meetings. No, but if someone wants to volunteer, then that would be great. I mean,
I'll do it this time, and maybe we'll see what else happens. But I think it would be nice to have, because I think Alan is, there's others that are interested but don't always come, or we can't always be there.
Right.
definitely.
That's okay with you.
Yeah, I
It
think
is-
that's perfect.
It is being recorded. What happens to the recording?
So all recorded Zooms go on YouTube. So that's even better, actually.
Well, okay, there we
There you
go.
go.
Then we don't need minutes.
Now you have to write anything down.
Okay.
Thanks,
All right.
Nancy, as always.
So we did, Missy can probably touch upon it too. So conveniently, we did meet as a region last week. So that is with Attleboro, Seekonk, Dedham, Mansfield, New Bedford, Dartmouth, Franklin, Holliston, Milton, Lakeville. I think I got everyone that was at the
Yep.
meeting.
So,
So we did talk a lot. We talk a lot about mattress bans, textile bans, obviously with the November 1st coming up. We did talk a lot about organic waste and what programs those communities have in place. So those communities, they don't actually have sites where residents can go to drop off their debris. They have a compost site like we do where they have yard waste, but they do, some of them, not all of them, they have what's called like a preferred vendor, like what you're hoping to obtain. So they do have preferred vendors with Bootstraps or Black Earth. So not all of them have it, some of them do. But again, it was kind of eye-opening to me. A lot of them are discouraging the on-site composting just because of all the, it's a lot that goes into on-site composting at an actual facility. So I think what you're doing is great to start off at least, and then potentially maybe, discuss further if there is a potential to have an on-site. I think it's difficult because I think there's a lot that's involved with it. There's a lot of oversight.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know, Missy, if you want to touch upon anything.
so, yep. So I definitely want to, I made a little note about that. So the communities that have the offsite actual on composting are certified and licensed by Mass DEP. They have to file permits. They have to be regulated. It's a much more complicated process for having like that type of a program. The other thing is, the compost has to be tested. So it is a bigger, broader program. The other thing is these are communities that have long had transfer stations. So they have the components all in sight, whether it be the employees from the DPW building and department. And so that's kind of where it kind of goes. What I'm seeing as, a fairly new MAC as who handles the trash and recycling in the towns. If it's a DPW building and department, or is the Board of Health, the DPW really has a lot they have to put involved into it to run this program. So Walpole might need more employees, they may need more land. There's a lot of, yeah. So that's why when you said, oh, this would be great, my brain's going, okay, employees are going to be number one, so that's kind of where it gets a little tricky. So to be honest, a lot of communities stay with this and they really like it because you put it out to the curb, it's taken care of. You don't have to take it anywhere. Somebody else does something with it. So communities that actually have the capability of doing something on site, they still are doing, the pickup at the curb. And I don't know if I'm sorry. I was gonna say, one of the things with your literature, I want to make sure that when you mention it, about the animals not being able to get into it, because that is a really big thing for people who may have never, ever thought of like having a compost pickup at their curb. Like, why would I pay for that? And then you go, oh, if you remove the food from your trash, the animals aren't getting in it. You move, this,
That's right.
and it just, all of a sudden it clicks in their brain and go, oh, well, then I guess I do want this kind of thing. So it's just, changing the angle of perception for it.
And another thing that was discussed at the meeting, which I thought was a good idea, it was Holliston Agawam, I believe. They got grant money. So you know how we apply for the annual grant and we get monies to purchase bags or recycling bins. They did what was called, they purchased the starter kits. So the Black Earth starter kits they used, so they were $35. So that's something I think that might be a good
Yes.
incentive.
Yay.
So I just have to find out, Missy, with the timing of, this is like whatever I currently have in my account now, because the new RDP funds won't be, the deadline is April or June rather, sorry.
Yes, it's a June, yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
potentially. Trying to think,
So
I
the
have
question,
some-
so the question I have for the folks doing the negotiating with Black Earth, are residents buying the bins from them, or are they leasing them that? Is that part of the program?
Residents would subscribe for the service and they would buy a starter kit for $38.
Okay, okay.
Which is sort of a 3 or 4 gallon little pail, similar
Yeah.
to many of us have now, and some compostable bags. And then if you want the cute little thing you pull to the curb, if you're a larger family, I think that's 13 gallons. They have it all. They have a complete store. They have party goods you can buy that are
Yeah.
compostable.
Yep.
I'm hoping to get to the senior center after this. So I have a question for you, Missy. I had two, but with my senior brain, one went away. How many towns, is this regional? Is this a Department of Environmental Protection region we're talking about? This region we
So,
came to?
yeah, in the state of Massachusetts, what we've done is we've divided up by regions, and each region, so Western Mass, there's like 120 communities in Western Mass. So my friend who manages out there has a big job, and then there's Central Mass, again, 80 some towns. And then we can divide it up by population. So my area is, we refer to it as Southeast 2, and it kind of starts up around Ashland, Hopkinton, then goes straight down 495 all the way to Westport, New Bedford, that
Wow.
way.
Wow. And who was the town that actually, was it Agawam? Who did you say was purchasing?
It was Holliston. So Holliston, yes. So actually he is kind of like the guru in our area for working the organics program. They've done it for a while. The reason I was asking about the cost and what the little kit exactly was, because to buy one of those little bins that you're talking about that on the counter, regionally, I live in Shrewsbury, and for my environmental group that I run up there, is I work with a town out in Western Mass, and we buy them in bulk. and they come down, because we're buying them bulk together, it comes down to $5 a bin. And yeah,
Yeah, well, that's right. Oh, that's right. Yeah, and I did see in the Norwood video, different people had, I mean, it looked like a champagne cooling thing, all kinds
yes,
of.
yeah.
I mean,
Right.
Black
This
Earth,
is,
Black Earth describes theirs as decorative and attractive countertop, each to their own. I
Right.
just go right to the garage and I get rid of it every day.
Yeah.
Quick question for you, Missy. Have you seen any evidence in towns giving any kind of credit to residents for doing this, for getting 20% of their trash removed for them by the residents?
no, they
No.
don't. And it's one of those things, as a person, I've always loved that idea, like having a little, special lawn sign, like, oh, this house, composts and does that, whatever. So no, there really isn't. And it's, it's kind of
Okay.
a shame.
So I'm
But,
talking, and
yeah.
I'm not talking about Black, I'm talking about the town itself.
No,
Right.
No, there are a couple bigger places. Okay, and.
and the reason, and I think possibly the reason is that politics and, all that kind of thing. So, but, think of some way that they can, do it without appearing to play favorites or whatever, like,
Sure. Then my other quick question for you is, and I don't know if this is appropriate, shut me off if it isn't. Of all of these towns down the 495 route, are we the only one who has the Board of Health handling trash?
there is Avon that has it. There is, oh gosh, there's a few, there's not many, maybe a handful.
It's a huge job.
Westport, yeah.
Oh, Westport also, interesting.
Yeah, Westport does. Avon, Canton, I'm sorry, not Avon, not Canton, Avon, I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of other, like I said, there's not many.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because they approach the job differently. I think the Board of Health and the health directors come at it as a much more of an educational moment. So they really, I think, spend a lot more time really communicating the education component. And the ones that do the DPW, unless they have somebody who is really good with communication and the town is set up for communication, it's not always quite there. So
Interesting. Thank you for that.
but some are great. Some are great. I wouldn't, I shouldn't say that, but it's just very different. The approach. One is really, the nuts and bolts of it, and the other one is more the communication and education. And I would love to see them both together.
Sure. I have two things I wanted to bring up. One is I'm wondering about the data. So we just talked about, whether or not anyone will ever get credit and so on and so forth. But I think a bigger, maybe more foundational question for me is, what about the data? I really want to see data collected along the way so that a year from now, 2 years, 5 years from now, we can look back and we can say Walpole took so much tonnage out of their trash, because I think it's a missed opportunity if we don't measure that.
So it actually is. So what, the program Melissa's talking about is in, I think, around January, February, she has to submit what is called a recycling and solid waste survey. So she has to fill out how much waste you have, how much recycling the community has, the vendor, those kinds of things. So we actually do collect that data, and we have a poster that should be coming out soon, and it actually tracks recycling and the trash tonnage. And I'll be honest, Walpole's doesn't do well on it because they do look at the trash tonnage. So, but it's a good visual that the community gets to see what your neighbors are around them and how they reach those goals. But so yes, it is actually being captured and on a yearly basis. So I can go back, so Walpole's fairly new with the program. So I don't have long records, but as long as Melissa or Walpole keeps submitting this data, we do have it. And we do have it for other communities.
So it's overall trash tonnage. And then if it starts dropping, it's not completely scientific, but we'd be able to say on some level that the food waste composting may be making a difference.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Especially since that is actually the heaviest part of your trash usually.
it is,
So-
right. Oh, that's great. Thank you for that. And I just
welcome.
wanted to mention one other thing. I've connected with some people. I used to live in Medfield, and I connected with some people who are working on all these projects over there. And I was offered all these free kitchen baskets. So they're in my basement. I haven't counted them, but I've got quite a few. And if we're looking to do something for residents, like a starter kit or whatever, we can throw in a kitchen basket if they so desire.
Good work.
Oh, God, yeah.
And a bag to go with it.
And a little bag to go with it. That's right.
Does this, doing this have any impact or help us at all as a green communities town?
Yeah, good
No.
question.
Do we get
And-
any
and-
points towards
And
anything?
it's something that's always bothered me as a resident and now as a recycling court. It doesn't. It does. Green communities really focuses on energy. And this is solid waste. So it's kind of within Mass DEP, they're different divisions. So I see where you're going and I understand.
But
And
on
the other,
that note, though, Missy, on that note, by doing these items, we are able or eligible to apply for more points in the RDP grant.
yeah,
So
yeah.
potentially by saying we're doing a curbside composting at the cost of the residents, we could check another point. Like right now, we get a point for the at-home composters that we sell here at a discounted rate in the health department. So by doing that, we would get another point, which would give us more money in the RDP, which would hopefully then we could spend that money to get the starter kit.
yes, yes.
But
So
I
I'm
do
sorry, I
feel like-
wasn't following where you were
No,
going, but yeah.
No,
yeah,
I
that's- yes,
understand,
yeah.
but I do feel like in order to apply in April and get the point, we have to provide the starter kits though, right? So it's kind of like, or we at least have to have.
You
the
don't have to,
program
you
off the
don't have
ground.
to. Some towns don't provide the starter kits. It's kind of like what you want to spend your money with. It probably would ramp up faster if you did provide the starter kits
Right,
for that.
right. I think so,
But
yeah.
would we get the point if we just initiated and had, Black Earth as a preferred preferred
I
vendor?
need to double check. I need to double check the wording on it. Sometimes it's, one little word kind of changes it. And I'm not sure. So I'm gonna
And
look in a
potentially,
few
like,
minutes.
I don't know how many people we have doing it, but I would just be nervous that if we open up this starter kit and we don't have the funds for it, so maybe say, okay, the first 100 to sign up.
Right.
get a free
Right.
starter
Right.
kit.
I think
Just 'cause
that,
I
And that-
know, I think I have about $4,000 left from that 7,700 in our grant, so I don't want to like bite off more
Yeah.
than we can chew, but potentially that might entice individuals to sign up quickly. And then we check that box, get the points, get more money, and then maybe potentially that could be a sustainable practice where you want to sign up for, Black Earth, you get the free composting
Yeah.
kit from the health
Yeah.
department.
And that's exactly it. So some of the communities, limit it to like 50, they don't really go crazy and provide it to a lot, so,
Okay.
people who really want to do this will do it whether they get their free starter kit or not. And it will incentivize people to register faster, because they do want to
Yes.
get that 50. So
that's right.
so I hate to
Yeah, I
say it,
think
with the
so.
holidays coming up, people are going to kind of lag around a little bit. So I would, and then still save a little bit of money for some other projects that might come up along the way as well.
Yeah, I do. I kind of feel like 50 might be our number for right now in our.
I think that's a common one that I've been seeing in others.
And then again, we can always shift and add more if,
Yeah.
if we feel necessary.
And also, once we have an active customer list here, they've got all kinds of incentives, like you get a $5 for a referral
Right.
and,
Yeah.
and discounts for density. I mean, there are perks that go after we actually are an established community.
Yeah.
So,
And then, like you said, on their online store, it's really cool. They have a lot of pickups that they can do for people if they're lawn waste, like if they, aren't able to, bring it to wherever, or like very certifiable compostable party wear and things like that. So they do a
Right.
lot as well.
They do.
And especially, with the holidays, coming up, if you're able to start it then, promoting the, the
Yeah.
pickup that they have for the compostable thing. It's kind of a nice, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Good. Perfect. So that's awesome. So next step, Mary, you're gonna send an email out to those that have already signed up to kind of say, these are the next steps.
Yes,
Do you want to maybe put a plug in about, first 50 people to sign up or a
Woo!
starter kit? But I would say in the meantime,
that'd be great.
if either Mary or Donna just want to confirm, you said you don't speak to Connor at Black Earth. You have another individual?
Well, yeah, Connor is aware of us. We've been texting for several months. But then he sent me over to, she's excellent. Her name is Hannah. And she really clarified a lot of points that have been going back and forth in text. Yes. And she did clarify, we are in the ballpark with what we
Okay,
told.
good. So maybe just confirming with a representative over there, how much, I know you said $38 or 38 and change. And then just to confirm that we would be able to obtain 50 kits. I don't know if they have that in stock or, and then kind of that would determine when we would roll everything out.
I see what you're saying. We don't want to say something and then they don't have it.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
Nice.
And I wanted to say, Donna's usually good at remembering to do this, but Donna, I'll remind everybody that we had Jess working on this sort of prior to my ever joining the group. And she did wonderful work, right? Laying the groundwork with education and posters and all kinds of things. And a few of us stuck with the company that she was promoting at the time, City Compost. But the reason that we're not promoting them at the present is that they've really proven to not be reliable. So I still have them, but I put up with a lot, like he says he's coming Thursday, doesn't come till Tuesday, this kind of thing. So, so I just wanted to say that for the record, though. Jess did a really nice job sort of kickstarting this in the early days.
Jessica Elmhurst, who was about a 10th grader in high school, and
Wow.
her huge graphics, her big wooden recycled truck is in front of the town hall for you to see, which I think we'll drag to our next event. Now, Melissa, I just want to clarify this. I'm to confirm with Black Earth that they have 50 kits available. Would that mean 50 kits that we would then purchase from them for these first 50 people?
Yes, correct. And then maybe, depending on the timeline of what you guys are thinking, maybe you have like a 1-day event where like, how we do our rain barrels, how people come and pick them up like a 1 Tuesday of the month, and like people can come in and, the volunteers can assist. And I don't so what is the size of them? I'm just thinking for storage space.
Well, and
if I can tell you exactly, but it's 3 to 4 gallons.
Okay.
So
if I could just mention an idea, maybe ask Black Earth how they usually do that rollout, because maybe Black Earth
They deliver.
drops them off, maybe they deliver, I don't know.
That's a good point, that you think they might potentially deliver it to each of the homes.
Well, you can ask them. I don't know how they usually do it.
Yeah.
Like
So-
Santa Claus, put a big bow on it and drop it off.
There you go.
I want to clarify that 3 to 4 gallon container is not something you have on your kitchen counter. That's going to be in your garage or your breezeway.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's going to go.
Right.
What Mary has is these cute little things that look like
Little-
Nantucket baskets.
yes,
You put on your counter
I
with
do.
your little liner in it, and then you take
yeah.
that liner. There is to be no loose garbage in Black Earth's containers. It's all to be in a compostable bag liner, which are cheap. I got mine at Will's Hardware. But
Yes, I did.
I just want to clarify. I don't want to mix apples and pears here. You're getting the thing that is the ultimate container that they
For
will
the curb.
For the
pick up,
curb.
they will service.
And we think that's just to firm up, I guess, the amount too. So, cause then if it's about $38, if we did 50, it'd be under $2,000. So I feel like if we could keep it under the 2,000 mark, then that gives us about 2,400 or so left to do other incentives that we'd like to do.
Yeah, I would probably ask them, if you're gonna buy 50, what kind of a rate would they give you? I
True,
would say,
true.
Donna, correct me if I'm wrong, I would say that container is probably comparable to our blue bins, but turned the other way. Is that a good
Okay, here it is.
size reference?
So you're gonna get in your starter thing a 4-gallon bin and liners measuring 13.5 inches tall and 10 inches wide. Okay. Or if you're a family of 4, you can get a 13-gallon bin, which is the cute thing that looks like a miniature waste man. Here she
Yeah.
comes. There she comes. Woo-hoo.
Yep.
All right.
Is it like a 5-gallon bucket, Mary? It looks like a
You know,
5.
Mary, that's taller than 13 inches. Have now from City Compost.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the green bins that you had at the market the other day.
The big one at the market the other day? Yeah, well, that was 27 inches high. 2 feet high.
So this
All
one's 5 gallons.
It looks like a 5-gallon. So I would say maybe firm up that information, like,
Yeah.
what we can get for maybe a deal for purchasing a bulk of 50, how they would actually distribute them. Is it directly to those interested in getting the curbside collection, or is it something that would have to be delivered to like the DPW yard or something like that? But maybe firming that up before, Mary, you send out your correspondence. then that
right.
way
Thinking.
you have a little
Right.
more information, and then
Right.
potentially we can ask Black Earth, once you do send it out, once these individuals register, for them to provide us a list of like order of who registered, to say, okay, this is the first 50, if they can even do that. Can they do that?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And
So
then
can I
again-
actually interrupt?
Yeah.
So I actually have the Mass DEP, the point that Melissa was talking about, what is required. And there's actually 2 different things. You don't necessarily have to subsidize the bins, but it is nice. And I'll be honest, it does ramp it up faster. It says that the municipality selected a vendor and negotiated a per household rate for curbside collection of source separated food waste through a public procurement process. The municipality publicized the vendors to residents who opted in. Oh, okay. So this is a procurement one. Okay. So yeah. So the next one is offered subsidized home compost bins to residents at a price that did not exceed $25 per bin. The municipality ran an active outreach and education component in addition to including information about the home compost bin program on the municipal website. Other examples of an effective outreach campaign include providing composting workshops in the spring and or fall, compost demonstrations at farmers markets, local fairs, festivals, or similar public events, hosting a video program at the library and or cable TV. And for this point, you will be asked to provide the following: the number of compost bins sold in the current fiscal year, price charge to residents, link to the promotion of compost bin availability on the market municipal website, and a link to the publicity about the education program.
So
So
Missy,
basically-
we
Yep.
already get the point for that, because we
Yeah.
already have the at-home yard composting that we charge only $25 for, and we advertise for that program. So those, we do get the point for that, but is there any additional points? I mean, it looks like we could get it for potentially more outreach. And
Okay.
Well,
at the
so
farmers market.
we've been at farmer's market,
Yeah.
several of us, I mean, talking about it.
And we can
So
document
yeah,
that.
this is separate from the thing you were talking about, Melissa.
Okay.
Yep.
So then potentially we could get another point, because if we give these
Yes.
kits away for free, we would get that. I know, Mary, you and Donna met with Sal to do a presentation at the library. So
Yep.
that right there is
Yep.
the point. And then
Yep.
obviously outreach at the farmer's market. And then whatever we decide on with the preferred vendor, we would post that on our Town of Walpole website
Yep.
and
Yep.
outreach on our social media
Yep.
platforms.
And then, highlighting the 25 free or whatever you're doing, or the other thing, if you wanted to make your money go further, you could say, we'll subsidize half of it and then get more people, or whatever, whatever you want to do. But as long as whatever you do, make sure you capture that.
Right.
And that it stays on the website. This is the important part, Melissa, that it stays on the website, basically till next fall when they start reviewing it and go, wait a minute, it's not here anymore. And you go like, oh, well, took it down, so it has to stay up there for a long time.
That is a good point. I like the free, but I also like the part that we can like sustain it as well. So do we do
Yeah,
a
yeah.
discounted rate instead? Do
Yeah.
we do, maybe we limit it and do the first 25 are free, and then after that, should kind of like our compost bins. So the bins that we purchase them for now almost $60, and we're only charging residents 25. So I feel like that is appealing. So I guess whatever the committee thinks that they would rather do.
Well, one of the things that concerns me is if you have an early group of people who got the discount, then the next group pays out of pocket. And then there's a group over here a few months later who get a discount again. The people in the middle might not be so happy.
That's why, so maybe
Right,
we can
so-
finagle it where we do, like, if it's $38, potentially we do for $25 they get them for, and we subsidize the remaining amount. I feel like that's manageable, especially if we're getting these grants every year.
Depends on whether they get the smaller one or whether they get the rolling one on wheels. Now, what are they gonna
No,
get?
that is a tough part.
Yeah.
Too. It's not like
Yeah.
our compost
So-
yard bins are one size. We
Right.
purchase about 25 in the season, and then when they go, and then we repurchase another one.
You know,
for our
It,
grant.
it could be a flat fee that you offer them, you know,
Right.
and let that, and
Right.
that, you know, Black Earth handle, whether it's the big one or the little one, with that.
Or again, like, are
Right.
you here, are you recommending maybe just doing like a giveaway and then kind of letting people pay for it themselves?
Well, I think I'd like to hear from Black Earth because they probably will be able to say what works best in their experience. Because I honestly don't know whether, you know, is it vouchers? Is it, you know, is it give it to the person flat out? And then there's a management piece there, you know, someone's got to
Yeah.
keep track of who got the free ones and so on. So hopefully they
Yeah.
know, you know, what works best.
Yeah, Donna, maybe just even asking like, yeah, what
Yeah.
incentive programs do other communities have? This is just one of the ideas of the starter kit, but.
Got it.
And again, it's so new that potentially once we get off the ground, then I can find out if there's additional funding available and then kind of what we get for sustained funding to kind of keep it going.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Mary.
Mary, keep me straight, keep me on path, Mary. Keep me organized. Mary's our organizer here.
We work well together.
Yeah. It's like, I just want to say something quickly, Melissa. I think your mattress, for anyone who doesn't know, because your blue mattress disposal guidance flyer is excellent that I got at the town in your office.
Good.
It's really, I'm wondering if you could put those in the next tax bill or something. I think this is really good. And all these other, anyway, it's great with the collection.
So yeah,
sites
so
out of
with, thank you, Donna. So with the collection, I'm trying to obviously like tailor it. So there is a fee now associated if you want to dispose of a mattress. So Boston Carting will pick it up for a charge. That's directly the charges with Boston Carting. But then I did meet with New Life Home Furnishing the other day. And if you haven't gone there, you need to go there. It's absolutely
Yes, isn't it
what they do. It's like, I've always
amazing?
It is.
used them as a referral. Like I've always, if someone calls, I say, oh, it's like gently used furniture, call New Life, but I've never actually been into the facility. So I was definitely blown away.
Oh.
I think the staff's amazing. The operation is amazing. So they did say, they vocalized that now with this mattress ban in place, like all of these companies are like making money and for disposal, and now they're missing out. So some of the mattress companies were giving or donating these mattresses, and now it's like these companies are kind of like taking them all. So they're at a loss now. They don't have the mattress, inventory that they once had. And unfortunately, that's something that's a necessity, right? They're furnishing homes that have no furniture. So I did say, I know like they are particular with what they get. Obviously, you have to look at it in the mindset where, would you want to sleep on that? Would you want to have this piece
Sure.
of furniture? Where I think a lot of people that are getting rid of it are like, well, it's still all right. Like, well, okay, well, would you want to sit on it if it had stains all over it? So they try to have that mentality that this furniture is for someone that doesn't have anything. Yeah, but they still have standards, right? They're still a human being. So I did add on to our flyer that is a donation option. So say you have a second bedroom, a guest bedroom that, the mattress is never really used and you want to get rid of it. New Life Home Furnishing is an option for that. So again,
Okay.
they're specific. It says on it, no stains, no rips, no tears. And ultimately it's their decision whether or not they accept it or not. But I did say I would definitely do that. And then we also maybe talked about when the nice weather comes to do a mattress collection event where potentially a
Great.
resident can bring a mattress and say it is in good condition. New Life Home Furnishing can take it. but they just don't want to do these events by themselves because they don't want to be stuck with bad, lousy mattresses that they have to spend their, not money that they have on the
Right.
disposal of it. So potentially if we can maybe, join forces on that, and we can use RDP funds to potentially get rid of the mattresses that are
Yeah.
considered contaminated.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
another thing was, so we have the collection for Cost Boston Carding, we have the donation. And then we also have Jordan's Furniture. If you purchase a mattress through Jordan's, they actually take it away as a courtesy, free of charge. And then Cardi's, they charge $10 for mattress and $10 for box spring. So I think a lot of people aren't aware of that. So they think, oh, we'll just, put it out by the trash. But
Yeah.
ultimately, unfortunately now we're in the era where everyone's purchasing mattresses online and on Amazon and those box mattresses. So they don't have a take back program. And then in addition, I had about 4 vendors that you could call for a charge to collect it. So.
It's funny, we actually think, and I thought that too, that so many people were buying online, but it's really the box beds are only, I think it's not even 25% of the market. So it's still pretty small. Yeah, I was shocked too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely with so you guys should actually schedule a tour of New Life. I was really, really quite impressed. It was lovely. Yeah. It was really, really eye-opening for a number of reasons. And when Melissa, you talked about having an event, that again is another point that we could possibly get the town and work with another town as well, sharing the cost of having the bad mattresses that they're not going to take taken away. And then also like New Life, little things like that I thought was cool. Did they talk to you about the kitchen kits?
Yes.
So what they do is, everyone kind of needs a basic kitchen setup, and of course the dishes might not match. So they'll match the colors, white with blue and all this kind of thing. And they'll get forks and they'll get pots. So it's not, no one picks it out. They just kind of have this kit put together. But the thing is, it's one of those things that are so small and people are, giving it to other places or, throwing it away, so it's just letting them know that what these, what their needs are. I mean, even plastic bins and things like that. So it was kind of interesting what they
good.
do.
No, I was definitely blown
Nice.
away. I thought it was a great operation.
Nice.
Yeah,
And
I've
then-
been up there. I volunteered up there. We did the towels.
Yeah.
So they do the same thing. They do towel kits. So
Yeah.
there's a bath towel, a hand towel, and a face cloth. And you just they're all on the table and just kind of match what will go together and make kits.
Nice.
And I guess one of the things we're talking about is because they've done such a great program during COVID, they went online a lot, and they're finding out it's actually easier for people who are referred by, the services, that they're going through even more clients. So like their need is even higher just because they shifted the way they handle their program. And then, we haven't even gotten into the recession part yet. So the other thing is, like, if you wanted to do what we call a zero waste event or anything in the fall, we can do that. And they don't have to be big stuff. A lot of times it can be smaller stuff or school supplies or, some scout group wants to collect for whatever. It doesn't have to be big stuff. But again, it could be things that, New Life might need or, some other organization.
Yeah.
They
So
do
we're
all-
definitely we've always promoted New Life, but definitely now I feel like we have myself and Megan went over. So I feel like we definitely have a little more narrative to explain to those residents that are calling. So that's great. And then I know I had on the agenda, so I'm not sure if anyone saw, there's the electronic recycling event in Rentham this coming
Rentham.
Saturday. So I'll just share my screen if everyone can see it. So it's at the St. Mary Parish, 130 South Street from 9 to 2. They are taking a great deal of items. So we always promote these events. Sometimes Blessed Sacrament has them. Sometimes the churches nearby have them. So it kind of helps out. Some of these items you can actually put in your curbside trash, but a lot of people don't like to do that, which obviously we encourage that to, take it out of the waste stream. So we do promote these events. So again, if anyone on the committee sees events that are, in close proximity, definitely let us know, because every single day we get phone calls regarding trash, recycling, disposal. So if we can provide residents with, convenient options to properly dispose of things, then that's very, very helpful. We have an ongoing alternative disposal resource guide that we just keep adding to. So it's items that obviously don't fall under the curbside trash or recycling collection, that we promote, so.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And
So-
the other thing is, so do you have, so another thing that some communities do is they have like a list of resources for the residents that might be free. Like a lot of the stuff on the list there, Staples actually would take for free, and little other resources of places that will take things. And COVID, now that we're coming out of COVID, a little more things are returning back to normal and services are available as well.
No, so we do have our ongoing resource guide, but I feel like we
Okay.
touch upon free resources. So I feel like that might be helpful. I mean, some are very inexpensive and some are free, like Norfolk County Mosquito, they'll take tires for.
Right.
There are, but I know like I'll refer individuals if they have like the compact fluorescent bulbs, like a Home Depot, a Lowe's. Things do change though, so I typically will try to go on the website before we refer residents to these places. Ideally, in a perfect world, I feel like whoever is selling or manufacturing these items should have a take back program, but I know that's not the case. I think it would just make it so much easier for residents, but
Yeah.
maybe in the near
So,
future.
so that is something that I want to mention to everyone, is that what Melissa's talking about is that talking to your state reps or your, people in Washington or anywhere, that you really think that this is something that really would be beneficial. When you stop and think about it, why is your municipal, program taking care of this stuff? Sony made a lot of money on your TV, Procter and Gamble's, why do you have to pay for it to, take it away? They spend millions on designing the color of that bottle. And yet, the end. So letting them know, Mass DEP, we're not, allowed to do that, but you as citizens and residents can do that to really get them to start taking these things back, especially like mattresses. And right now, Massachusetts, it's, being put down onto the residents and the municipalities, but in other states, it is part of the manufacturer doing that, like right over the line in Rhode Island.
Oh,
So that kind of thing. And then one other thing I want to mention, again, when you were talking about programs, is the last time I was here, I had mentioned the Fix-It clinics, and that the gentleman here that was does the Boy Scouts is, so Fix-It clinics are, again, another way to get points. But what it is, it's a program that some Rotary clubs do. This particular one is going to be at the Ashland Library. And what they do is they kind of have people who know how to fix things, and they will show residents how to fix their own stuff. Like they'll have the tools there and the components of it and things like that. And residents will come in with their broken whatever, and they'll show them how to rewire it or, whatever. So that people, instead of throwing things away, they can, continue to reuse it. So Ashland is having one at their library on Saturday, December 3rd from 1 to 3. And then they're also presenting to the Mass Library System a presentation to see, to get more libraries throughout the state of Massachusetts to do this type of a program, because it's really a good community building event. And also it's just part of, the repair, reuse, recycle, and all that kind of. So it's really an important fund, and you get a point for it as well. And also New Life, we had talked about that a little bit, that they actually need people who know how to fix things, because sometimes some of their stuff is really perfectly fine. It just might need, a little tweak here and there.
mhm.
Is that a
That's great.
particular organization that runs the Fix-It clinics?
So, yeah, so there's an organization called Fix-It Clinic, and then there's another one called Repair Cafe that's out of Europe. And the basic dividing line between it is, the one is the Fix-It Clinic is headed up by a gentleman out in California, and his motto is that he wants to teach people how to fix their own stuff. Whereas the Repair Clinic would be a group of people that you would have, and they would actually fix the stuff for residents. And then the other thing is, you can make your own, you could come up with your hybrid. So I could see a lot of elderly not being able to really see or to, have the hand dexterity for fixing something. So if you had the Repair Clinic, that would be better for them. Whereas if you had a, young family or whatever with a lot of broken stuff, the one might be better for them. But the nice thing is, when you do it through like the library, you usually have the the town's liability insurance, and you have a space there and a way to promote it and things like that. So
Of course, then
So
you
that's
have
what-
the young people that never learn to fix anything and the seniors who know how to do it.
exactly,
By
exactly. Yeah.
the way, we are desperate at New Life, since you brought it up, and I know you have to end this meeting. One of the things that we really, really, really need is clip-on lampshades. I can't find them anywhere. We have a lot of lamp bases donated that take a bulb, and you need a clip-on shade. If any of you see those at your grandparents' houses or anything, we would love to have them. We're always looking for single fitted sheets. We're down to just hoping people can make a bed on YouTube with 2 flats. And right now we're really hard up for some queen comforters or blankets. So I leave you with that thought.
That's great. Thank you, Donna. That's really, really helpful. 'cause
Yeah.
If we get phone calls, we can relay that information.
Hmm.
And also you could create a wish list too. Through, any organizations that or the schools want certain things rather than going out and buying brand new. I mean, there could be someone sitting with, a whole room full of ribbon when they were in their, crafting phase, and now they want to get rid of it.
Is
So
that Fix-It Clinic at Ashland Library?
yes.
That sounds really intriguing.
So I
Mhm.
will send Melissa the poster and flyer
Yeah.
for that as well.
Perfect. Thank you. That's helpful.
Okay,
Good. All right. Wow. I think this was a very productive meeting.
very good.
So we will circle back. I have us down the 4th Tuesday of every month, and I have us via Zoom. If at any point in time people would prefer to meet in person, we definitely can do so. We could wait until after the holidays to do so. It's definitely up to the committee. I know some people prefer the Zoom. It's convenient if they have other things going on in their lives. But again, maybe even, every few months we meet in person. It's completely up to the committee. But so we're scheduled for November 22nd at 5:30 for our next meeting. So hopefully we'll have another update on the composting, and then that way we can try to potentially get that off the ground soon.
That'll be great. And I have a question just to clarify. We've used some language tonight about preferred vendor. Is there a process that we need to follow? No, it's so the work we're doing is fine. We don't have to go to the
Yes,
town and
yes,
make.
yeah.
Okay,
Typically,
Tech-
Mary, with the preferred vendor, because I've had a lot of this conversation with the mattresses over the last few weeks. It's
Okay.
really just making sure you're advertising and that you're not going to
Okay.
say, okay, call, Bootstraps, or, the town itself would be promoting this vendor, and we would be putting that on our websites and our
Okay.
Facebook
Okay.
platforms.
great.
And then the
Okay.
other thing is in Massachusetts, for contracting for trash and those services, you don't have to actually have a process. So that's you're covered with that too. But it's also, and you
Okay.
guys actually have started looking at other vendors too. So, you've done your due diligence.
Okay, all right. Oh, good. Yeah, we have actually. There's another company I called at the recommendation of a friend and they never called me back. So
Yeah.
we have a little track record. Yeah.
Good.
So
Perfect.
great.
All right, well,
Thank you. I loved
thank you,
having this.
everyone, and
Thank
thank you
you.
for being on the
Thank
call.
you.
We appreciate your presence
No,
here.
thank
'cause
you.
can kind of give us
Thank you.
information
Bye-bye.
from the state level. All right.
Thank you.
Take care,
All right.
everyone.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Thank you.